So I have to work all day today, to pay for my barbecue addiction. But one of the great things about working from home is the ability to put on a long cook in the morning, kind of set it and forget it. And there's nothing better for that than a pork butt. They require very little attention. Unless you're doing it on an offset, you really don't have to mind it that much. And today we're going to do that, and we're going to do it on the SNS kettle with kind of a low and slow method with charcoal. So let's get our pork butt ready, and then we'll get out, light the fire, and get this thing on so I can get to work. Thanks for joining. Okay, so I've got about a 3-pound pork butt here. I actually like buying these in the smaller ones. I always, when I see them, I grab them, and even if I throw them in the freezer, because they're really a decent size for what I usually cook for. Do a giant pork butt, and a lot of it just goes to waste sometimes, at least. Pork is nice though, like this, because you can save it. I'm not a big leftover guy, but leftover pulled pork is pretty good. But I do like these sizes. So I'm looking at this, and there's not a lot to do on it. I mean, it looks pretty good. I'm gonna leave that fat cap as is. So we're just gonna get this seasoned up, try to make this as simple as possible so I can get to work. So I decided to use this chub rub, and a little bit of a story behind it. I found out recently that one of my kids' friends' dads apparently makes this. It tastes pretty good, and I think it'll be good on this pork butt. So we're going to try it today, and I'll put links for this in the description, and pick yourself up some, at least if it's good, but I think it will be. So I'm just going to liberally season this with, a hunk of pork like this. It's hard to over season it, a lot of meat inside there. And if I remember, I'll tell you a little trick that I do with pork butts after the cook to make them even better, in my opinion. So just going to get every side really well, press it in, get this bottom side. And this fat cap. This is boneless, which I don't mind doing sometimes. I do like a bone in the pork usually, but if I find one of these small ones, I don't worry too much about it. It's still good. Lots of good internal fat and marbling you can see there. Try to make sure we get these sides. There, I think that's going to be pretty good. So I tell you what, we'll get out to the cooker, and we'll get this, we'll get it lit, and we'll get this on. So thanks for joining me this early Tuesday morning. I appreciate it. We'll be back. Okay, so it's kind of a rainy day here in Buckeye Barbecue Land, so we're going to use the edge of the garage for this cook. Got the SNS kettle that we're using today with some Royal Oak charcoal briquettes. Got just a drip pan in there. I do have the water reservoir filled. That's part of the SNS setup. And then I've got a direct heat zone, and of course an indirect heat zone where the pork will go. I've got a couple of tumbleweed fire starters in there. We're just going to do it at the edge, get that one edge lit and going, and then we will just let it slowly burn across all day while I'm working and get this pork butt done. We'll check on it a time or two when I have a chance to get up from my desk, and maybe wrap it. I haven't decided. A lot of times I don't wrap a pork butt. I forgot my lighter, my Instaflame, so I'm just going to use a match here. We'll see how we do. So just going to get these tumbleweeds lit. And just leave the match in there. All right, those are going pretty well, actually. real quick, I'm gonna grab a couple of these briquettes and put them on the fire. There we go. And I've got the rack. Oh, we can turn that. There we go. Got a school bus going out there. And we're gonna open the vent wide and just let this fire catch. And there we go. So we're gonna let this fire get going. Gonna get the lid on it, and then we'll bring the pork butt out and get it on here. So we'll see you in probably just 10 or 15 minutes. Doesn't have to go that long. See you in a few. All right, I think we're good to put this on. So I expect this to be a pretty low maintenance cook. The exception is going to be probably the first half hour where I want to make sure I have my temperature dialed in. I'm looking for 250 plus or minus 25 degrees. Charcoal is looking good. Just lit on this one side. I added a smattering of pecan wood chips. I don't know if those can be, yeah, you can see those in the video. So we can get a little smoke, already smoking pretty nicely. And we're just gonna set this on the rack. I do have my combustion ink probe thermometer in so I can measure this temperature. So I'm just gonna get this lid on and watch this temperature for probably the first 30 minutes and dial in my vents to keep it steady. And right now my vents are still wide open because we're just over 200 degrees. So I'm gonna let it get to 225 to 250 and then I'm gonna start backing them down. So I'll bring you back at least once or twice during the cook. I expect this to take maybe 8 hours, something like that. So we'll bring you back soon. Well, in a few hours. Okay, we have been on right at 4 hours, just a few minutes shy of 4 hours. Temperature's been holding rock solid at between 250 and 275, and the internal temperature of the smallish pork butt here is about 140. I actually haven't looked in a few minutes, but it's around there. So we're gonna take a quick look. I'm gonna see if I think it needs sprayed. I don't have a spray bottle with me right now. But I will get one and spray it now and again if it seems to be drying out. I don't think it will be, but let's take a quick look. Oh, color looking really nice. A little bit of a bark, but I don't worry too much about bark on a pork butt because it's going to be shredded up anyway. So it's not like bark on a brisket or whatever. Looks good. So I'm happy with this. We're gonna let it keep going. I think I may wrap this. So if I do, I'll bring you back. Either way, we'll see in a few minutes. Thanks for joining. So we are at 160 degrees internal. Starting to get a little bit worried that this isn't gonna be finished when I want it to be. So we're gonna wrap it for sure, give it that Texas crutch, which will hopefully push it through the stall. We've been on 6 hours, right at 6 hours. So let's get this done. I've got 2 layers of foil there off to your left on the camera. And I'm gonna just drop the pork butt right there, get it wrapped up real good with the probe in it. And I've got my apple cider vinegar cut with water that I've been spritzing now and again. So let's take a look at this and get it wrapped up. Here we go. By the way, cooker holding right at 250 still. I don't know if this is in the camera or not, but we're probably about 2/3 of the way through the charcoal. This probably needs wrapped anyway, getting some dark spots. So, pick this up here. Hope that's in the camera, but we're gonna get this wrapped up real well. Try to be quick here, but I don't want to break the foil, so quick but careful. All right, there's our package going back on the heat, and we'll get this lid closed and bring you back. Okay, we're right at 8 hours, and we are at just under 205 degrees. As you probably know, the temperature really isn't the telling factor. You know, tenderness on a pork butt. I've done enough of these that I'm really confident in the tenderness, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. I think it's going to be done, and I'm going to take that risk. We've gone through about 90% of the charcoal. That's really the only reason I have this lid open, because there's not much you can see with the foil. So I did add that one extra piece of Prime 6 charcoal right here. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't run out. So it's I don't know, about 20% burned underneath. But we're gonna get this inside. I'm gonna put it in a foil pan and cover it with another layer of foil. We're probably 2 hours from eating, which will be a perfect rest time for this. So I think this is gonna be pretty good. We'll get it inside, and I will see you a little bit later. All right, it has been about an hour and a half. So we're gonna get this pork butt unwrapped. See how we did. And I'm just going to, I can still feel the warmth of that even through my gloves. I am just gonna pull this in the, in this foil pan here. Good. Hope you can see that, how much juice there is in there, and that is just from the pork butt. I didn't put anything in that except the quick spray before I wrapped it up. So let's see about getting this. Oh, oh man, beautiful. Let me see if I can adjust my camera here just a little bit. There we go. Or the screen on my camera. So we're just gonna see how this pulls, and it is beautiful. Wow. So a lot of times there's pieces you don't really want to eat. You know, this big fat pocket there. So I usually just go through and try to separate some of that out. It doesn't have to be perfect. That can come out. It's done its job. It's kept this nice and moist, and I'm assuming, and I'm about to find out, flavorful. Some more of that can come out there. Man, this smells really, really good too. All right, so a couple, just had to try it. Oh, that's good. Oh, if you're just getting into cooking outside, smoking on a pellet grill, on a kettle like I did, whatever, offset smoker, one of the first things you should do is a pork butt. It's so forgiving. It's really, really difficult to mess it up. Unless you just don't cook it long enough and don't let it get up to that temperature of around 200, 205 degrees. It's just hard to screw it up. So this is beautiful. So one of the first things I'm going to do here is take the juice from the foil, add a little bit of that back into the pork, keep it moist. Don't have to put it all. Just add a little moisture back in. Now I'm not going to take the time to do it this time, but one thing I like to do is just chop this up really finely. I really like the pork like that. Some people would prefer it like this, just sort of shredded and pulled. So it's sort of to each their own type of thing. Next thing, I've got some barbecue sauce. This is not much. It was what was left over in a bottle, which is fine because I don't like to drench it in barbecue sauce anyway. I just want to add a little bit of flavor. And just mix that in. And then people can always add more barbecue sauce to their liking. I think just adding a little bit works pretty well. That's just a store-bought sauce there. Stubbs, I believe. Yeah, it was Stubbs. Try this again. Oh, dang, that's good. Last thing I'm going to do, and I recommend this for anybody doing pulled pork. After you get it pulled, take the rub you used, or a different rub if you want, and just add some more to it, because you're only doing the outside, and all of this meat, you just totally increase the surface area. So if you add a little more rub, you'll find that that really helps your flavor. I'm going to try a piece now. Oh, I can't believe I just put my gloved hand in there. Well, I guess that glove is gone. Oh well. So dumb. Gonna add a little more rub, and that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for joining me on this cook. I appreciate it. You can't beat a good pulled pork. We'll see you next time at Buckeye Barbecue. Hey, do me a favor, like and subscribe. I'm almost to 1,600 subscribers as of filming this video. And I certainly would appreciate it if you're number 1,700. Thanks a lot. See you next time.